Please give her your attention.
Hello, how's everybody today? Are you guys cold? Where's your shorts? My name is Kylie. I am a registered dietitian. I work at John Muir. My son actually plays in Diablo, and I've already come to speak to the boys group, and Sean and Mike have asked me to come talk to you as well. Because I am a dietitian, I really do believe nutrition matters, and I know that you are young athletes, and maybe you haven't given a second thought to how nutrition is affecting your athletic performance. But I wanted to get out there and say, absolutely it does. I mean, you think about like all the star athletes and what they are doing, I guarantee you that they are putting a lot of thought into how they are nourishing their bodies before, during, and immediately after their activities, because they realize that there's a connection between how they can have that sustained energy and how that can cause a much better performance and how they play in their field. Now, if I'm talking about nutrition with a group like you, we're talking about energy. What do you think? Well, let's take a step back. There's three main nutrients. We call them macronutrients, big nutrients, right? You guys have all had your health and nutrition class, hopefully at some point. What are the three big sources of macronutrients in our diet? Yeah?
I know protein.
Protein's a good one. How about another one?
Carbs.
Carbohydrates is one more. Butter, oil.
Oh, fats.
Fats, right. So those are called macronutrients. They provide the calories that we use to burn energy. If you're an athlete, which one of those is the most important?
Protein.
No. Carbohydrates are key. Carbohydrates is what your body needs. Now, where does this come into play with your training? Because I know somebody's going to a tournament this weekend, or when you have a tournament this weekend, right? It's Saturday. When should you really start thinking about building up the better nutrition for your body so you can have the best performance necessary in that tournament on Saturday and Sunday? Name a day of the week that you think you should start.
Friday.
I like Thursday.
Friday's too soon.
Oh.
Or too late, excuse me, too late.
Oh, on like Thursday or Wednesday.
Thursday or Wednesday's even better. I mean, it really is. What should you be eating during this time? I mean, let's go to Friday night. If you don't have a tournament, Friday nights are spent probably eating what? Candy, pizza. But why wouldn't that be good for somebody who is going to be in a tournament the next day? Why is pizza not the best option for you? Yeah.
Because it has like fats.
Right. The fats, what is that doing to your body? Even though pizza has a lot of carbohydrates in it, fats cause those carbohydrates to digest much more slowly. So it sits in your stomach for a longer time. Where do you want those carbohydrates to be? You actually store your carbohydrates as starches in your muscles, called glycogen. And then you also store it in your liver. Now, why would we want glycogen and starch to be in our muscles? What are we going to be doing with that?
Building it.
Huh?
Building it.
Building it, but what are we doing with it there? By having starch in your muscles. That's immediate energy, right? If you have lines of starches right there and your body chops it all up and releases it, it's going to feed those muscles directly so that you can do the energy you have to do. And if you can't get the carbohydrates from your food to be able to lay down glycogen in your muscles fast enough, then it's not going to be available. So thinking about starting on Wednesday, choosing some lower fat but higher carbohydrate foods. So things that I would make examples of, and I have a handout that I sent to Sean that he's either going to print or email to your parents that will go over some good options for you. And as much as I am a fan of whole grains, you guys get a pass. You guys can have refined grains. Whole grains, just like fats, they take a longer time to digest. So they're going to sit in your tummy a little bit longer, not quickly get to your muscles where you need to deposit them to build up that glycogen. But things like Greek yogurt, non-fat Greek yogurt's great with like some fresh fruit. Or how about a bagel with like some jam on top? All those sound pretty good to you? I like rice cakes. The cheddar ones are really delicious. They're not that high in fat. Probably a good thing to have with you too. And this is what you should be trying to work on leading up to your game on Saturday. Now, it's the morning of the game. What are you having for breakfast? Stick with the same stuff. Something kind of low fat, high refined carbohydrate, like a bagel, a toast, an English muffin, with jam on it, have some fruit. You can have some egg whites if you really want to have a little bit of protein, but those are the best options for you. And then you're going to go and play your game. How many games do you guys play normally in a day?
3 or 4.
3 or 4, right. So you're going to go and you're going to play that game. Your game is over. What do you have after your game? You haven't thought about it? This is actually the biggest mistake that young athletes make. Your recovery and the time that you put nutrition into your body matters most right here. You need to get carbohydrates and proteins into your body within 30 minutes. So again, I have some snack ideas on here that you should try and keep with you so that you can have those options in your bag. And if you're going to go and be a line judge or have to get on the field, just grab them, put in your pocket, and snack on them. You need to replenish. Now, if you only just did that 1 hour of activity, water is usually okay. You don't usually need to have the Gatorade and the Powerade, not unless you're doing back to back to back to back for like a long time, okay? The time you have the water and then you're going to go and have something that has electrolytes in it, you're already going to replete those. So that's really unnecessary. But the protein and the carbohydrates you absolutely need to lay down more glycogen and to build up the amino acids in your body to repair any muscle damage that you had. And that happens every time you have a game. So if you have a game at 9, 10, and 12, that means you're having snacks right after that 9 o'clock game, right after the 10 o'clock game, and right after the noon game. Does that make sense? Now, are you also playing a game on Sunday if you play on Saturday?
Yeah.
How many of you are really pooped? I feel like your performance is really dragging on Saturday or Sunday, but next. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. If you haven't had much thought to how that recovery is coming in your activity, you of course to be really pooped. You've burnt everything up on the first day. So even on Saturday night, when you get another game the next day, you're still on that replenishing mode. You're having good, healthful foods that you're putting in your body, not too high in fat, not too high in fiber. Build up your glycogen, prepare your muscles, okay? When do you think you could have pizza again? Or a hamburger? Don't be shy. I was a kid once. A lot of you probably want to have it Sunday night, right? You go, you're done. You don't have to worry about this anymore. Give me one more meal that's healthy.
Salad.
You want to have antioxidants, that's right. You really do. You want to have colorful fruits and vegetables. You want to have, you could have some salmon and some lean chicken. Just and then one more healthy meal. And then for breakfast on Monday, go ahead and have whatever you want. Okay? But this is definitely a pattern that I know pro athletes follow. They hire dietitians like me to meal plan for them and to give them the most nutritious food that they need to build up their bodies and recover from the activities that they're doing so they can get up to the next step. In this, I also have lots of suggestions for after competition, things that you can kind of have on there too. And at the very bottom, because you're female athletes, you're women, I have some recommendations making sure that you're not underscoring anything else that we need for our bodies. As young growing women, you need lots of calcium, iron, and vitamin D. And if you're a milk drinker, that's great. Milk has got lots of calcium and vitamin D in it. If you're more into plant-based milks, that's fine. You should be sure it's vitamin D fortified and calcium fortified, okay? Iron foods. Like I like beans. Beans are a really good option to have. Any kind of red meat would be a good choice too if you like red meat. Let's see, other options for iron that would be good for you guys. Eggs, like egg yolks would be a good source of iron. So those are the kinds of things that you should be thinking about including like on a regular basis so you're not getting diminished in those type of nutrients. Okay? Anybody have any questions? Nothing.
Quiet group.
I wish you guys all the best. Good luck.
She had a question, but she's not saying. I don't remember about the food.
Oh my God.